Good morning. I just wanted to announce that I have some playtest docs for Golden Helmet Racing available for anybody who's interested in playtesting these. Uh, it is a racing game. It'll be set in a a fictional racing discipline where drivers are racing for the golden helmet, and they will wear that golden helmet, as they win races. But let's go over it real quick. Again, there will be kind of a written fictional example of this particular racing discipline. All right. So it'll look something like this. Every raceway will have its own race day D100 roll. So this is the Goldfield Motor Raceway D100, and every car in the race will make one roll on this table per race. And every raceway has a different weighted a D100 bit of information. They may be similar here. They may also have some different stuff on them. But either way, this is the playtest raceway. Procedure is pretty simple. We need to make qualifying rolls for every car on the grid. Once we do our qualifying rolls, we will from last to first. So you will start in ascending order. You will roll dead last all the way up to the pole. All those cars will get one roll on this grid position. That will set where they're at on the grid, and then we proceed to what's called a tie break in those positions. And the first tie break for a team is their speed. The second is their actual tie break. And third would be a random roll, their guts roll, to break ties if we're still tied. Once we've done that and we've put everybody in their positions, we then do all the tie breaks, make sure everybody's in their proper positions, and that determines who wins the race. Again, by the positioning here based on your tie breaks. And then, of course, whoever wins is given the gold helmet, and we move on to the next raceway on the calendar for the race. So if you have 20 or 40 racers, you're going to have to make a minimum of 40 grid position rolls. They're going to have to make rolls for pitting and for car trouble, that kind of thing. So, of course, the more cars you have, the longer a race will take. But, of course, you want enough cars on the grid to make interesting when you get when you're breaking out these grid positions. Qualify is pretty simple, right? A team's speed, you roll their qualifying die and you subtract that from their speed. Remember, you want the lowest speed to set your qualifying time. Grid position is by roll, speed, tiebreak, gut. So again, I talked about here, you first make a roll. Let's say I land in the top 10. I then will, my speed, let's say 4 other cars land in the top 10 today. We're going to determine our order in the top 10 by speed, and you'll see it'll overlap. So you're going to have guys, you might have 10 cars in the top 3, but they're going to be broken down by their tie breaks. And then, of course, that means whoever's in the top 5 would slip into that, 11th position. Anybody in the top 10 after the 11th position. So you'll do it, but this just assumes those cars were battling for the 5th position all race, but they're going to finish where they finish based on their speed, their tiebreak, or their guts. So it's very well. You'll see. I'm not going to play one here, but I will play one on the table later. Teams consist of a driver, a mechanic, a car die, a qualifying die, a speed rating, a tiebreak rating, and a guts die. Qualify, again, is speed minus the qualify roll. Low is good. Lowest is pole. Position, that's where we roll the position. We set it lowest speed rating, tie break, and guts. Again, I talked about that. Pit requires an equal or under mechanic check to return to the race with a roll again. If the mechanic check fails, the car is out with a breakdown and will not finish the race. Car trouble, you roll your car die rating to see if your car breaks down, in which case you will not finish the race. And if you happen to be unlucky on this particular track and roll 97, 98, 99, or 100, you will have a wreck and you will not finish. So it's very, very fast, very simple, but the dynamism comes really in setting the grid after all rolls are made based on ratings. So there is a randomness to some degree, but then there is also a reliability of the value of your rated teams, which is pretty cool. So here's an example of some teams for playtest. There's the Texaco team, number 52 car, driven by Rob Walton. He has currently has the gold helmet. His mechanic is Harry Newman, and this, when I present the written rules of this particular discipline, you are allowed one driver, one car, one driver, one mechanic, not a pit crew. So these are, when you pit, it's up to your mechanic to get your car back on the grid. So these really are two-man teams. It's pretty cool. One guy's driving, one guy's the mechanic, and only one guy can work on the car. So Harry Newman here is a 35%. He's not great, right? So despite Rob Walton having a good car, a good speed rating, he doesn't have a great mechanic, and he really doesn't have a great tie break, but he has brilliant guts. So you can see how Rob Walton impacts play, or how Rob Walton might be given you can assume Rob Walton is the guts of this team, so to speak. They are using a 67 Ford Mustang. Their car rating is a D6. They qualify at D4. That's not great, but they are very fast, so that helps. Their tiebreak rating is pretty darn low. You don't really want to be. You want a high tiebreak. You want a low speed, high tiebreak. It's going to sound strange, but you'll get used to it. And then you want a high guts die because it's a chance for you to roll higher than anybody else when you're breaking a tie. Right? This would be the guy that pedal to the metal in a tight corner, might push it inside, might even try to pass on the outside. So the guts is just Rob Walton's going for it to break that tie, to steal first or to steal a position. The second team here that's identified is the number 33 car, Randall Johnson. His brother, Johnny Johnson, is the mechanic. You can see he's 20 points better than Harry Newman. They use a 73 Cougar, a D8 car rating, qualify at D8, which is pretty good. Speed rating is not great compared to the Gold Helmet team right now, but that D8 gives them a chance to really cut down their speed for qualifying versus this D4. Right, so the best speed rating that, the best qualify that Rob Walton's going to get is, I subtract 4 from 35, is a 31. The best these guys can get is 8 from 45, which is what, 37? Right? So he will never get pole against Rob Walton, right? So I think that's right. Oh no, 32. So he could, excuse me, what am I saying? 8 from 45 is what? 37? What is my problem? Yeah, right. The point is, that's how fast this 67 Mustang is. However, if they find themselves in a tie on the grid with another car that's as fast, that tiebreak rating could kill him, right? But he's got guts. All right, so then we have generic playtest teams. This could be all the other teams on the grid. So if you wanted to, obviously it's not going to be any fun just racing two cars. So you can use this capsule to make 25 teams or 43 teams or whatever you want to do. Give them names. But they are base 45% mechanic rating. I just say any Chevy is a joke. D6. Qualify at D6. The speed is a 50, so again, they're not faster than either one of these guys. Their tiebreak is a 45, so it's faster than Rob Walton, but not as fast as Johnson in the tiebreak. And their guts are poor. These guys aren't the best drivers. They won't be as gutsy. So it's just a chance for you to say maybe make 19 teams and race them, or use these numbers for 19. And make as many freaking capsules as you want. I'm not going to disclose how we create teams yet. That will be in the final product. So I'm not going to allow, for playtest, I'm not going to allow people to create teams because then I don't know what's going on right in the playtest. So, and then there's a quick rundown of how the game works, how you qualify, what is speed, what is the tiebreak, what is the guts, what is a car rating, and then an example of how this looks. So 2 cars on race day roll fastest lap. On their race day roll, they cannot both be number 1. So we proceed to use the speed rating to separate these 2 cars. But let's say they're both 35 speed. So we use the tiebreak next. So car A is a 45, car B is a 65. Car B would edge out car A for the number 1 position, and car A is in second place. If both cars are still tied after the tiebreak check, that's when we make the guts roll, and the highest guts roll takes the spot. And we keep rolling. If they keep tying, you keep rolling until a clear winner is awarded. So this can make for exciting moments If we roll guts and they're the same, we roll guts. That could be literally bumper to bumper, door to door racing until somebody finally squeezes by the checkered flag for their position. And remember, this is going to be true for all race grids, not just for not just for pole, or not just for winning the race, right? So you can do an entire race with 45 teams, and no one rolls fastest lap. But you're going to have a certain amount of cars in top 3, certain amount of cars in top 5. You're going to have a certain amount of cars in the top 15, and you have to break those down by this. So what happens is you are going to be using their speed, their tie break, and their guts rating actively to break out how many guys get into the top 3. You got to break them out. So if you got 15 teams in the top 3, you're going to be positioning them on your final grid first. Then you'll be going down to the next group of top 5 that will pick up wherever that top 3 finishes. So if 15 guys are in the top 3 in this particular raceway, and again, some raceways are going to put more people in the top 3 because they're fast raceways. Some are going to be very technical. You might find that there's a very low percentage of top 3, and we might have a huge percentage of pits because it's a long track that beats the hell out of the car. So you might have a big percentage of pits, right? So you can see how the raceways will create different races, right? So this is our race data. Then our rating data decides how well they do and how well they place, right? So you can see this can be a game with a lot of dynamism, but we're not overly rolling a bunch of stuff, right? So anyway, this is a playtest doc. I will put a link in the video below for those who are interested. They can download this and just drop some dice. You don't have to track laps. You're not tracking. All you're doing is making one roll for every car on the grid, and then you're going to break those ties as you finish up the final grid positions. And that's it. And of course, you'll make a roll. If somebody hits the pit, they got to make a mechanic check. If they succeed, you roll again. If they fail, they're out of the race. If somebody shows up in the bottom 5, of course, that's again you could have 10 cars in the bottom 5. You're gonna have to decide who's the dead last and up, right? And then if you happen to roll car trouble, that's where you make a car check. If the car fails, then it's a breakdown and you will not finish. If the car stays in the race, that becomes a dead last car. So again, you could have 10 cars have car trouble in a race, and they're all going to be trying to position to avoid dead last, right? So again, that's where the tie breaks come up to avoid being dead last. And then you've got your crash out, which literally means your car is wrecked. You've lost control, you've wrecked your vehicle, and they're finished for the race, right? Some tracks will be more dangerous. There'll be tighter curves. There'll be lots of traffic on a windy technical track. This number could be much higher for crashes, right? So there you have it, folks. This is, again, I ask you to respect the rights, Gold Helmet Racing, and with this game will be probably 10 or 15 raceways rated. I will make probably a big set of cars, and there will be a written setting as to what is Gold Helmet Racing League, what is this style of racing, so it'll set you in your position. It will have a team creation rules, so you can create your own team, your own driver, your own mechanic, car, etc. So you can look forward to this, as I've been working on this a little bit over the last few weeks. After I finished my 2 books and was playing Red Ice Hockey and sharing Red Ice Hockey, I've also been slowly working on this. So I don't know when exactly this will be finished, but those who want to at least fool with it, and if you have any feedback for me, great. If you don't, no sweat. But thanks for watching. Good day.